Here's why Trump's tariffs are in jeopardy. Remember Liberation Day over 217 days ago when a buoyant US President Donald Trump announced global import duties while brandishing what looked like a makeshift DIY 90s game show scoreboard? True, the tariffs have lasted longer than the historic Rose Garden, the grassy setting where they were unveiled to the world, which has since been transformed into a Mar-a-Lago-style stone patio club. But the tariffs may be metaphorically dug up soon too, with the added possibility that tens of billions of dollars already collected by the US government may need to be repaid to US businesses if they are. So why is that? And what is Trump's plan B if they are? Let's start with the decision makers in this case, the Supreme Court, who are considering whether to back rulings from the lower courts, which have already decided Trump overplayed his presidential powers when implementing the higher import costs of certain goods from certain countries. If you want to impress people at a dinner party, the powers that Trump may have overplayed came from the International Emergency Economics Power Act, or IEPA for extra points. It empowers the president to declare a national emergency over an unusual and extraordinary foreign threat. The nuance here at the heart of the current debate is that a president is allowed to bring in sanctions or freeze funds, but there is no mention of the word tariff in that. So what are the Supreme Court justices thinking? Does IEPA, that 1977 law, actually authorize tariffs? And if so, is it unconstitutionally delegating Congress's authority? According to Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, he told Fox Business he's very optimistic about his administration's chances in the case. But if you listen to what they actually said in court, many commentators are not convinced, as a majority of justices expressed doubts about the Trump administration's justifications for the tariffs. One conservative judge raising the prospect that this could set a precedent for abdicating all responsibility from Congress for regulating foreign commerce. Another bone of contention is whether tariffs are a tax at all. Trump's side argues they're not, but this appeared to be a stumbling block for many of the justices. But on the flip side, some justices did express concern about putting limits on these presidential powers in a national security and foreign policy context. So when they decide, whether that's in a few weeks or months' time, you can be sure that Trump has a plan B if he loses. So what plan B could trade lawyers in the White House be furiously working on throughout the night right now? They have already started using another tool in his armory, a separate national security authority known as Section 232 that has led to levies on the automobile, steel, aluminium and copper industries. Trump could broaden that. There's also a 1974 Trade Act, which he could use for the first time, that allows 150 days for tariffs at 15% to address trade imbalances with other countries. So he has options. So as we await the verdict, as well as having far-reaching consequences for global trade, when it comes, it will tell us a lot about the scope of presidential powers in America, whether they are to be limited by the courts or not, even if it doesn't ultimately change this US administration's strategy on tariffs.